Tammy Longie of Tokio, North Dakota, has now been sentenced to life in prison. Her husband, Erich, was also sentenced to life in prison earlier. This from the Department of Justice. Quote, U.S. Attorney Jennifer Klemsrud Pohl announced that Tammy Longie of Tokio, North Dakota, appeared before Chief Judge Peter Welting, U.S. District Court in Fargo, and was sentenced to serve a life in prison after having pled guilty to second-degree murder within Indian country, 3 counts of child abuse in Indian country, and child neglect. On May 6, 2020, agents with the Bureau of Indian Affairs and Federal Bureau of Investigation responded to the home of Erich and Tammy Longie on the Spirit Lake Reservation. Law enforcement observed a deceased 5-year-old child in the basement of the home and observed bruising throughout the body. An autopsy concluded the death a homicide and identified the cause of death as bilateral subdural hematomas incurred from assault. The pathologist observed abrasions and contusions consistent with multiple episodes of inflicted trauma. The child's sibling was examined at a local hospital and determined to be in a higher level of care, and was hospitalized for more than a month. An attending physician explained the child had bruising over the child's body consistent with abuse. The primary medical concern, however, was heart failure due to malnutrition. Spirit Lake Tribal Social Services had placed the 2 children in foster care in the home of Erich Longie Jr. and Tammy Longie in July of 2019. The investigation revealed that the 2 biological children were also abused, including with objects in hands. This is a tragic and horrifying case, said U.S. Attorney Jennifer Klemsrud Pohl. The children endured prolonged physical and emotional abuse by Longie, who was responsible for caring and protecting them. In particular, Longie's physical and psychological abuse of 5-year-old RT and 7-year-old ZT represents some of the worst of humanity. For Longie ultimately killed RT and severely injured ZT. Today's sentence ensured she will be removed from her community forever. Co-defendant Erich Longie Jr. pled guilty to first-degree murder, 3 counts of child abuse and child neglect, and was also sentenced to life in prison earlier this year. This case was investigated by the FBI and Bureau of Indian Affairs and is being prosecuted by the U.S. Attorney's Office, with U.S. Attorney Lori H. Conroy assigned to the case. I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNewZ.TV.